I wish I had documented this better, but I'm going to post it anyway because I think people might be interested in how spray painting a garage door will work out. And this is my before and after, and as you can see, it's about a billion times better. It doesn't look splotchy or patchy. I didn't know where to begin on how to get this weatherproof stripping out of the way so I could paint the door underneath it. Placing a long strip of painter's tape backwards where the sticky part is facing you and then taping small pieces to that to pull it back worked best because it kept the backside looking neater.
This is a good example of what I mean about the backside.
But it's not really going to matter if you intend to paint the back. Just make sure you use enough tape because when the painter's tape got wet with paint, it began to unstick from itself. So make sure you're generous with the tape so you don't have to tape after everything's wet like I did. You can see here I added so much more tape and probably wouldn't need this much if it wasn't wet when I redid it. I started this in the afternoon and was finished by evening. I put 2 coats, so it was a relatively quick project. This shows what it looked like at the end of the first coat and before I painted the hardware, which I debated because the paint could muck up the locking mechanism. I made sure to spray lightly, but you might be better off removing the hardware or replacing the hardware. It's been 4 years and no trouble with the key. I used this Rust-Oleum spray for metal in white because I like the nozzle on the can. It doesn't drip as much as some other brands. I applied 2 light coats so I wouldn't drip, and I did keep a roller or brush handy in case there were drips forming. This is what it looked like the day after I finished painting it.
Okay, so here's the garage door 4 years later, and still looks really good.
I really wanted to capture what it looks like close up so you can see. I do have an overhang, so it's a little protected from weather, and I did wash it for this video 4 years later, but you can see it just really looks pretty good if you ignore all the shadows and backlight types of things. But hopefully this gives you a good enough idea about whether or not you would want to choose to do so. And I also wanted to show you how it looks in different lighting conditions without so much glare or reflection. It actually came out pretty even. And this is how it turned out under the weather stripping. But in fairness, I don't use my garage door very often, so I didn't really have too much of a chance to rub.
And this is still flexible. You can see the back side of this.
Where I placed painter's tape to pull it away from the door, it didn't get painted. And here's a good example where I had a piece of painter's tape crosswise. I could have painted this from the other side of the garage door after everything dried, but I just decided not to. Here's a close-up on the hardware 4 years later. It has worn off a little bit. And here's one last look in yet another different lighting situation so that you can kind of have the full spectrum of what it looks like all around. I actually think this view is the best representation since there's not too many shadows, kind of an overcast day. And there you have it. I hope this information was helpful for you. If so, please like and subscribe and have a blessed day.